Hey everyone, in this video we're going to cover our two favorite stretches for deep gluteal pain syndrome of the hip. Hey everyone, my name is Sebastian, this is Desiree.
Hi everyone.
We're part of locally world famous chiropractors in Costa Mesa, California. Now before we actually start with this, we're going to show you the location of deep gluteal pain syndrome to make sure you actually are on the right video and don't waste your time.
Cool, so let's get started. So deep gluteal pain syndrome is typically it's going to be pain along with it's a pain in my butt. Let's start over. Deep gluteal pain syndrome pain is typically found just what we call posterior, which means behind, to the greater trochanter. So your greater trochanter is the little bone you feel here on the outside of your hip. It's going to be pain that is usually down the glute region. It also kind of replicates sciatic-like symptoms, so you might get the symptoms that go down the back of the leg. It even is going to be changing in sensation. So when you're sitting down in a chair, one side might feel normal, the other side might feel really funny. That's also something that's really common for people that have deep gluteal pain syndrome.
Now, I've noticed that like the change of sensation is kind of ambiguous, but it almost feels like it's just tight and you want to rub it. It doesn't have to be pins and needles or numbness. It just feels kind of different, right?
Right.
And that could be inclusive of this problem. So let's get into the stretches then. You want to show me the first one?
Yeah, so the first stretch I actually want to cover actually has you in this position here.
Okay.
So it's crisscross applesauce, I think is what we're using these days. So for us right now, the target hip is going to be his right hip. And what I'm going to have him do is start off first by just pushing this leg down towards the ground. Okay.
Like so?
Like so. He's just gently pushing this leg down to the ground. And he's just breathing through that. Now, he can sit there and pump the hip all day long, but I actually just kind of want to
hold it.
I just want to hold.
Okay.
So we're just going to do a sustained hold. You might feel that stretch along the outside of the leg here. And you can intensify the stretch if you're one of those people that likes to chase intensity. You can do that by having him lean forward a little bit more. Okay, you might feel that stretch along the outer glute hip as well.
Yeah. Is it okay if I feel a little bit of like stiffness in here?
Ideally not. So whenever we are trying to do a stretch for one area, we don't want to produce symptoms in another. So what I will do for him is let's have him play with foot position. So maybe bring this foot out a little bit further and do the same thing. Let me know if that changes anything.
Yeah, that's actually better in here.
Cool. Yeah, and that's exactly what we're looking for here. So while we're trying to help you find relief, we don't want to be provoking anywhere else in the body. Cool.
Mm-hmm. So on this version that you talked about, so I'm doing a little bit of lean forward like you mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
So the other stretch we're going to do, I'm going to show you a version that may not work for people who actually can do this. So go ahead and line your back for me.
On my back.
Okay, so in the last one we allowed a little bit of the pelvis and the spine to round, but in another video that Desiree did, we talked about some of the diagnostic testing that we use. Some of them require a little bit of low back round, and we don't necessarily want to provoke the problem as we're stretching it. So can you go and bring one of your right knee towards the chest? There we go. And go ahead and grab it, like kind of the position of crisscross applesauce as you did. Mm-hmm. So go ahead and put this hand right here. And remember how you had me push down? Can you also push down?
Pushing knee into hands.
With this hand.
Pushing down.
There you go, right there. So we're just going to hold this position right there. Mm-hmm. So you may feel the outside part of your hip. Mm-hmm. In this one, it's okay to feel a little bit of the crease, but not a lot.
Right.
What do you feel?
I feel mostly sensation here along the glute. But it's not the same burning sensation that I would feel if I had deep gluteal pain.
Okay, so sometimes if you end up having a reproduction of problems with this, like the magic in is really the coaching and the intention of the stretch. So go ahead and set up again for me.
Okay,
so let's go ahead and assume that she has pain with this, and it's duplicating her deep gluteal problem. One thing she can do is actually breathe into the floor here. And almost act like she's breathing into my fingers. Sometimes just relaxing in this way helps out to settle the pain a little bit. And after a little bit, you might notice that your pain drops to about half.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Mm-hmm. What else would you do besides these 2 stretches, maybe moving forward?
Well, beyond just stretching's always really good to help settle things down, right? It's really easy. You don't really have to think too much about it. But a lot of times when people say that they want to stretch an area, what I think is we probably need to start strengthening the area as well, right? Like a lot of times people will come in and they say, you know, I just, like let's say it's the hamstring stuff that's going down the leg. They say, I just want to stretch my hamstrings. They always feel tight. Tightness to us usually says we probably need to strengthen the area and figure out why that tightness is even happening in the first place. So one of the steps that we would take here is give you a little stretch or something that you can do to settle things down. Once those things have settled down, we usually take you into the next step, which is going to be strengthening, right? Getting you back to performing a little bit better.
So if we can take a logical approach with this, like if something's stiff and there's a limitation on range of motion, we can stretch it and it can help out to mobilize the area a little bit more. But also too, like it's not really logical to think that this stretch will make you any stronger. And if Desiree has been dealing with this thing for now, say about a year, that area, her hip may have been not used as much. It's painful, it's not trusted. And so maybe something like a localized strengthening exercise will actually get strength in the area and make the joint more supported.
Yeah.
Right? So if you guys are looking for help, we have lots of videos on this type of condition on YouTube, but if you're looking for specific recommendations, remember as we mentioned in the last stretch, the magic or the devil's in the details. We need to make sure that you actually are being coached well for the stretch that works for you. We have virtual and in-person services. If you're looking for our help, there's a link the link in the description below, or we have a webinar on the corner where we cover various different types of hip and gluteal pain. We'll see you guys next time.